Hello and welcome to the HackMatrix. I haven't streamed in a long time, so here we are. Hello and welcome to the HackMatrix. I haven't streamed in a long time, so here we are. Let's see if I can increase the volume a bit. PAV, U control. Input devices, not at 100. Let's just increase this slightly. I don't want it to be too broken, but input devices, not at 100. Let's just increase this slightly. I don't want it to be too broken, but input devices, not at 100. Check 1 2, check. I think this is probably decent. I got rid of my fancy mic. It was check 1 2, check. I think this is probably not something decent. I could keep. So. I got rid of my fancy mic. It was check 1 2, check. Okay, so we are good with volume on the digital microphone. The stream may crash because this is a Wayland port now. So if we check, oh my god. If we check, you can see that the matrix itself is running under NVIDIA. And we also have Kitty and various other things running under NVIDIA. I will go ahead and pop out the chat maybe. Okay, so we have a full screen chat here. So it'll be nice to see. So now I can go here and use my browser or whatever. Okay, so we've got a lot of windows. Maybe something I'll do for right now is I just want to play a little bit of Minecraft until some people get in here. I like playing Minecraft. It's not going to resize the window. The window is going to be pretty small. That's the way this thing just gets set up. So there it is. It's going to be really tiny. But that's fine. I'll just set this up until we see some people on the chat there. Hopefully that music isn't too bad, because it's probably going to sound pretty bad. Okay, it's not that bad, I guess. Okay. So one thing that I do have, that I just recently remember, is if I open up a terminal and then go let's see what I want. Downloads, and then I think it's what is it? It's CD Magica. and then wine, sleep for Magica Voxel, wine, Magica Voxel.exe. And so that should actually open up a nice little Magica Voxel window. We don't want to put it in that voxel thing itself. Boom! That actually works. So that's cool. So now what I can do is I can actually build things in this. I'm not a huge fan of whatever this color palette is. It's such a strange way to organize colors. So it used to be that I couldn't use this very well in HackMatrix, but because I have Wayland now, I think I can. So, like, one thing I can do is save project as, and then, yeah, so I can go here, and I'm in Vox. So let's make a... let's go to Kuber Logos. And let's make a new folder called Vox. Okay. Oh, and then we'll save this as let's make a temple. Okay, so now I have my temple. Totally forgot really how to use this thing. There we go. Alright, so the question is, how big of a temple do I want? Let's see. Okay, that's fine. I'm going to turn the music down for a bit. There we go. Okay. Okay, so I think I'm going to make this like 1024, 1024, 1024. 512, 512, 512. Yes, that's a pretty big structure. So it's kind of a shame because I used to have a pretty decent temple here, but I deleted it when I deleted my Arch install, so it's kind of upsetting. Okay, so we're going to have a base, I guess. I think geometry box mode. Okay, so now I can do something like... Oh, I know what I used to do actually. So I would do color, so I would paint. And so I can, whoops. So I can paint the steps like blue or something. Like that. It's kind of janky actually. There we go. And so now I can change that to the gray color and then make that, whoops, and then attach only up there, like so. Although that's kind of terrible looking too. I spent so much time on a model like this. I hate that I have to redo it. Oh, that's what I can do. I can do a marquee select. No, that's not it. Okay, so I can actually use the push-pull of this to sort of move the steps the way they need to be moved. So I can just lower that step. I'm making models for my desktop, because my desktop is a game engine. So I'm making a temple model for my desktop, so I can make it like Temple OS. So these are the steps of the temple. I want to sell a game on Steam made out of this engine. I think that would be really cool. It's multiplayer, so it can be a multiplayer game. Maybe like a university MMO or something. Let's see what you say down here. This is just Wazad. I just ported it to Wayland, libWayland. If you know Linux, Wayland is the new graphics or the new desktop API. and so it will allow me to easily port it to VR. And so I will port it to VR at some point. Just not quite there yet. But yeah, I made it because I want to make games, but I don't like leaving the game to like. I want to be fully immersed in the game while I'm making it, and so this allows me to do that. And also, I don't really play games, so the only type of game that I really want to play is a game where I make games or program, and so this is just the only game that I would want to have a desire to play. So. But it's open source right now. The assets I'm making probably won't be, but the code is. So the multiplayer is going to be a mesh net. Right now, it's just a server-based multiplayer, but it is going to be sort of peer-to-peer mesh-based, so that way my server doesn't really have to get too involved in it. And so that will be kind of a cool thing. Oh, whoa, that's cool. I have no idea what just happened. I somehow just switched this tool set somehow. It's not what I wanted to do at all. Maybe it's this. What in the world did I just click? I just got rid of the tools that I was using and switched it out for this brush. I guess I can save and just reopen it. Oh, okay. Did I crash? Oh, no, I just turned on cap locks. Okay, let's reopen this. Okay, my tools are back, so that's good. Man, I totally forgot how to translate. Magic of voxel. Oh, okay. Middle click. I like wireframe mode. I think that makes it a lot easier to tell what's going on. Okay, so I think something I can do is, now that I have this, I can do a marquee and copy the entire thing. And then I can copy and then paste. And then I can move this up and then move it to the back. And then erase this face all the way. Whoops. Oh, dang. Did not mean to do that. Move that up, move that back, and erase. That is not what I wanted. Okay, we're going to erase the face. No, not with a marquee select. We are going to erase the face. So, oops, I moved it. We'll move that back to exactly where it disappears. Dang. There we go. And I should turn on Windows scaling for Windows or for X applications, I think. It's actually very difficult to see this window. And I think I'm going to do that. Just 1 second. Dang, I didn't take enough off of that. There we go. Okay, I'm actually going to save this and do a little programming. Or a little bit of codecs. Fix HackMatrix Wayland sizing. All right, yeah, thank you. Adios. I really don't think resize move is even implemented. I actually would be surprised if that completely fails. Oh. Yeah, here's the thing. It did both of those here. Dude. Codex is retarded. It's like actually, it's like actually retarded sometimes. Here, we're going to stop this. Because first off, resize move, it's like not even a thing. I mean, it is a thing, it's not even implemented at the moment. It's probably implemented in... Yeah, it just sets the X and Y. Dude, ChatGPT or Codex absolutely destroyed my shit. Like, it just absolutely destroyed my code, but I guess that's fine. Yeah, there's not even going to be an app at this point. I don't even know why I'm just thinking about doing that. That's the request configure notify. Where we don't want to... Oh, okay. I get it. So that was on the request. And then it was going to set this up. Let's see how the XGD surface handles it. So it's getting the current height and width. Yeah, I don't want to handle request configure events. I want to force the size. Okay, so this is on the map. Just like it's doing here. It set XGD top level size. Okay, I actually don't think I need this. Bro, it's spammed this shit so many times in here. Two. That's a layer surface. I want the XGD surface. Yep, that's it. So instead of the XGD size, we're going to what does this do? Oh, really? It's my helper. Is there just a set size like there is for XGD top level? Hopefully this doesn't break shit. Now what is this? Oh, that's new. Okay, we don't want that. We want this. Surface, configure. See, it doesn't even know what it's doing here. It's on configure notify. See, that needs to be 0, 0. Not that it matters, but if there was ever a configuration event, which there won't be, it would set it to size 0, 0, which is not great. And then this is something that the stupid GPT added. Okay, I believe this will do exactly what I want, so let's give that a shot. Let's look at the chat. Hello, Cooler Barul Hinto. How are you? See if you're still on. You are. Hello. Oh. 7:48. This is probably in the stupid helper function it created. I love how it just hallucinated this random function that doesn't even exist. Okay, too many arguments. Now that I can believe. There's an event X and an event Y. I don't think I've pulled out an event. Okay, so that's for the configure notify. I think that's fine to keep. There's just never going to be in a configure notify. And so that's just setting it to the default width and height. Oh, okay. That's if it doesn't have a size. That works for me. Let's see. Oh, just a hello. Okay. Let's see. So 601. Primary expression. It should have a top level. Oh, jeez. Oh. It's going to tell me that there is no top level, and I just have to call that with the surface itself. Because this is a X surface. There we go. I didn't save it. So right now what I'm doing is I'm changing, there are different types of surfaces, and so the X Wayland surface are any surfaces that need to be created from X11 apps. The XGD surface are, those surfaces are native Wayland apps, but some things like Minecraft will not load in Wayland. Same thing with any wine applications. So this Magico voxel will not render in Wayland. And so the sizing for these apps were messed up. They were not the correct size. As far as I can tell, they were just being sized by X itself, which is not what I wanted. I want to force it into a particular size. So hopefully this works well for that. There is going to be a bit of a problem, which is this is going to likely kill the stream. So I will have to... it's not going to actually kill the stream. It's just going to kill OBS, basically. So after I restart this, because I've compiled, I'm going to have to open up these terminals and get the stream back up before YouTube kills it. So you'll just see the screen go black, but it should come back. And if it doesn't, I'm sorry. But okay, the stream should be back. So I can go ahead and restore the live stream here. Everything popped out into chat. We got a dead stream and we're back. Okay, so that worked. That worked the way I wanted it to. Oh, and then the moment of truth, let's see if like Minecraft crashes it. This might crash it, so it might be a problem. It didn't resize it. It didn't set it to the size I wanted. But you know what? Maybe it's actually doing a configuration. Maybe in here, I don't even want to, so there's a configure notify. Maybe I just want to ignore the configure notify and not set it to the actual size. I mean, technically, Wayland X11 should never be configuring the size of anything. So like this width and height should always be the bootable. We don't even want to listen to the width and height here. So bootable default width and bootable default height. Okay, so what's probably happening is the app gets created, then it resizes to the size that it the app itself wants to be by default, and that triggers the configure notify handler, and then it was my compositor was just saying, okay, it's fine to resize it to that, and resized it to that, but that's not at all what we wanted. The app doesn't even exist at this point. Maybe it does. Maybe it's fine to set that. Okay. So hopefully this prevents it from being... So how do you install some Linux distro in VR? You don't install it in VR. I'm not in VR, by the way, but I could move this to VR. But the way that you do it is there is a like Linux VR streaming driver, basically. And so you install that on your VR headset, and then you run the Linux on your desktop, and then you just stream that as an output to your VR headset. I'm just playing this in like a screen though, so. But at some point it will be actual VR. I just like playing a video game desktop. I personally don't like wearing VR headsets too much. They hurt my face. So, okay. So I'm going to have to do the restart trick because I just compiled this. So once again, you're going to see a black screen and the stream disconnect because I have to close these windows which are processing the stream. And so I will be right back. Yeah, it's only driver based. At some point, I was thinking about creating like a VR headset, which I would be able to then control the Linux, the Android distribution, and set everything up. There is actually a cool Simula VR. So this right here, that's exactly what this guy's doing. He made basically the same thing that I made, except it's not necessarily a video game. It's more tailored to like work or whatever. And so he's been working on these dev kits, and he's like literally engineering his own VR headset so that he can take his software and put it in there. It's just a single founder, If they had a team, I was actually thinking about saying, hey, you know, I know that you built this OS. That's pretty cool. Maybe think about not installing Simula and install HackMatrix, and then I'll work for you. But I don't know. I think this project is pretty well stalled. I'm not actually sure if he's hiring anybody for this, but there are people that have done this. Anyways, I'm going to restart the stream, like I said, but the stream won't actually restart. It's just me killing the OBS or the streaming software, and then I'll be right back. So. Okay. Okay, so again, I'm going to test. My hypothesis is that this resize move here, or this configure, is basically overriding my original configure here. So this is an anonymous function that is attached to a notify signal. You can see down here there's a Wayland signal add that adds it to the request configure. So the X11 server will send a request to resize or move the server or the window, and then the compositor, the Wayland compositor, has to handle that request if it's a proper compositor. Mine's not. Mine just ignores pretty much all signals except the creation ones, because it just has these static sizes for now, and it just controls the size itself. So I think it was probably overriding it. So this may work, it may not, but we can see. That's promising. It did. Okay, so now you can see that this window originally was like too big. It wasn't like perfectly in frame, and now it is. And so now when I do this, it's going to pop up a Minecraft window, and instead of being a tiny Minecraft window like it was, it's going to be a normal size Minecraft window. Perfect size Minecraft window. And there we are. Minecraft in Minecraft, kind of. There is a voxel engine, but right now it's sort of janky. And so if I were to click on this box, it would create a voxel. But right now that doesn't really work all that well. Let's see what chat says. Hey, what's this? Just got here. You playing Minecraft or some modding? Yeah, so I've built a desktop, Linux desktop environment that's like kind of like Minecraft. But I was just getting X11 windows to be sized correctly in comparison to Wayland windows. So that's what I just did here. Well, that was a weird bug. I think that bug is caused by X11 windows. I've not seen that before since... I've only seen that since installing XWayland. So, branch. Okay, fix XWayland sizing. The source Wayland WLR compositor. Git add source. I'm going to take a look at what the diff is doing. Okay, so I believe this mod set was actually causing my GPU stuff to crash, maybe? My GPU just randomly crashes on Linux, and I'm not sure if it's because I had the mod set, but I'll just add that in as well. After I do, I'll just push that on main. Git commit fix Wayland sizing. Push. Gotta push that to upstream. Then, yeah, cool. Thank you. Yeah, it is. I think it's pretty cool. All right. So let's fix Wayland sizing. Okay, just create that pull request and merge it. It just works. Something else that's broken is the hotkey switching. So on the X11 version, I used to be able to press menu shift and a number, and then the hotkey would move to that number. So I would be able to like reconfigure this to be like hotkey 1, and then like reconfigure my browser to be hotkey 2, so I wouldn't have to like continually search for these things or remember the number. Because like right now, this is hotkey 3, and then this is hotkey 5, and I would remap them to 1 and 2. But since Codex did the Wayland port, which was like 20,000 lines of code, it botched a lot of stuff, including the hotkeys. So I will delete that and then get checkout master. And then I'll just add the launch. I don't need a PR for this. Fix or RM mods setting for GPU. Maybe that fixes broken. It's entirely possible that the stream just randomly crashes at some point, so if that's the case, just know that that's probably what happened. If it crashes, I usually can get it restarted before YouTube decides to care about it, but sometimes I can't. Okay, pull. Stash, get pull, get stash, pop. And scrolling after unfocus. I'm just going to delete this file. I don't need a package lock. At some point I need to get rid of the database in the GitHub, but people need a base database. So I had to add it, and now every time it changes, it tells me, which is kind of annoying. Okay. All right, so I think I'm going to investigate the hotkeys now. What I was also doing before that is I was working on a sort of object to put in here, which is a temple. So this distro, or I guess it's going to become a distro, but it's sort of inspired by Temple OS. That's one of the things that's its inspiration. And so as such, I'm going to make a temple. Wine Magica. I'm actually going to sleep3 wine magica voxel.exe. And the reason I sleep is so I can position it. Let's just put it here. Okay, that's much better. It was a tiny screen before I fixed the Wayland sizing, which is what sort of motivated me, besides the Minecraft thing, to fix the Wayland sizing. That's kind of a problem, though. I can't see what's going on in this screen. That actually might be a serious problem that Okay, I'm going to fix that as well. So, so when it spawns a new window, it moves it. So that's actually in the window manager, I think. Window manager space or something. So it decides on its position when it registers a Wayland app. Right there. So it moves it 0 point or 3 point. No, that's not what I want. There it is, dist. And that's in the z-axis. Okay, yeah, because it rotates it and then it has to move it in that axis, which is weird, but so I need to move that to 3. Oh, something that's interesting about Temple OS, if you guys are familiar. So Terry Davis was schizophrenic, and I'm not schizophrenic, but I am a mystic and I am a high-level meditator. And at some point after you meditate so much, it's called enlightenment, but you basically become entangled non-locally with... Non-local entanglement basically means that you receive information from places that aren't physically where you're at. And so Bell's theorem, to show that I'm not insane about this, so there's this concept of in physics called local hidden variable theories, and basically what Bell's theorem says is that local variables don't actually exist. And what that means is that you can essentially receive information from places that aren't physically in your location. Basically, psychics exist, and that's what I am. And I say this because when I get bugs, when I see bugs, I will physically, even if I don't think about the bug, I will physically feel something in my body that tells me that it's a bug. And there are other meditators who have done this before, and who have the same sort of power. And so I'm kind of like code psychic in a way, which is kind of cool. But I don't really talk about that like at work. I sort of keep that shit to myself. Although I'm unemployed right now, I quit my job. But I was working at AWS. I worked there for a year and then just quit. Because I quit and then bought a house so I could like work on stuff like this. So yes, so I wanted to make a game, but then I was like, but I don't want to leave the game. I want to be in the game the entire time, and so I'm just like, okay, well, I'm just going to build a game about building a game. Wait, you dropped out in the 7th grade? That's awesome. I mean, it's kind of crazy, but I dropped out of college. So if you see in my resume, I went to the University of Tennessee, but I have no degree. And then I was just like, oh, I'm going to become homeless in New York for a year. And then 6 months into, or 3 months, it was actually a month and a half into it, I started living at this company called Aspects Inc., which was it was in the... My highlighting is messed up. But this company, Aspects Incorporated, let's go to New York. It's in one of the nicest neighborhoods in New York, in Tribeca. So this is where like Taylor Swift lives. But the company that I worked for was here that I got hired in after I moved to New York and was homeless. So my homeless experience allowed me to live in the nicest neighborhood, or one of the nicest neighborhoods in New York City for free. I got to live in this building. And in the penthouse of this building, not when I lived there, but before I lived there, there's this show called Entourage, and this guy right here, Jeremy or something, he actually lived in the penthouse of the building I was in. And so that was quite an adventure. One of the best experiences of my life, actually. So me being a little like crazy it leads to like really cool experiences like this. Okay, so it's still building. Whenever I make changes to the window manager, apparently it just takes forever to build this. Did I change a header file? Like, I have no idea why this would take so long to build. I think what's happening is I just recently added to the CMake lists a change that builds the proto buffer. And so if that's triggering every time, then it's going to cause all of the code that depends on it to recompile. I didn't actually add this. I'm not very good at CMake lists, but I can ask Codex about it. Okay, so in my CMake lists, there is a proto buff gen, but we need to verify that the proto buff actually needs to be genned before doing it, because it updates a header file, which then cascades into like recompiling my entire project. That header file rarely changes. Okay, so it should start doing work on this, and it will likely fix that. And so once this gets compiled, then I will be able to open the temple back up in this now that it's been resized, because the window will spawn where it needs to, which is like way over here, I believe. The thing that's sort of strange is when I create a new window, let's say from a terminal, it already spawns in the correct spot. Like if I were to just open up a new Chromium, okay, it opened it up an existing one. Let's open up OpenSCAD. So it's going to open it up, but it opens it up. Oh. Okay. So it's actually not, it's not positioning it in the correct spot. That's the problem. It has like some type of rotation that it's not doing correctly. That makes sense. So if I were to kill this magic of voxel and then restart it and turn slightly like this, and then try to open it. Got it. Okay. So it's just moving it in one direction, which is sort of janky, but whatever. So that compilation really doesn't matter now. Okay, anyways, I was working on a temple, because Temple OS. and now the screen is bigger, so I can do that. Let's make sure I have the entire thing, and then move that down and move that over. Okay. And we have some weird artifacts here that, whoops, did not mean to do that. I need the plain version of that. Attach, so attaches T, delete is R, so I can just remember that. That's kind of a pain. Oh, it's blue? That's absurd. There we go. So attaches T, T. Cool. So that these are the temple steps. I'm wondering if I want to copy that another time. Copy it once more to make just really tall steps. I'll probably do that. I think I need to get a perfect side view. I need a full ortho projection to do that. Okay, there we are. Okay, so now I can just grab the steps. I won't make the same mistake I made last time. Oh. Copy, paste. Copy the steps, paste them. There we go. Boom. Perfect. Oh, I did sort of make the same mistake though. And the primary mistake is that these steps are actually one too high. There we go. So I will need to, whoops, erase, whoops, uh-oh. Dang, I forgot. I somehow entered into a new mode where I'm in like brush mode, and I don't know how to go back. So I actually have to save this and kill that, and then reopen it. Or I guess I could learn how to fix that. Okay. So I'll push that up by 1, and then I can gotta go back to ortho projection. And then I can grab that. And I can move that down 1. Okay. Those are some. That's quite a big set of temple steps. I actually do see some problems with them. I don't know how much of a perfectionist I am here. That does look kind of janky. So I will mark, whoops. That's actually, I think, what I wanted. There we go. And I can, whoops. That was not what I wanted. I want that one. There we go. There we go. Okay, perfect. No idea why that was set up like that. Okay, cool. The ortho perspective kind of makes it look weird, though. Okay. So I'm going to do an X-based projection. So I actually want columns here now. So let's add. Actually, first whoa, that is. Maybe it's actually Y I want projected. There we go. So let's add the sort of side there. And then we can also add that. I think that's fine. So one thing I want to fix is that. And then I can raise that up. Oops. And raise that up. Very good. Okay, so they actually would never build it like this. So these would be column based. And so I guess to do that, I would take this and then sort of create a square column there, and then like a square column there. And one there. And then I guess I can make that would be weird. So you generally, I think, want a corner column. But I guess I can do this, and then I guess a corner column would be generated. I think the backside is just too large. Okay, oops. You know what? Goodbye. Okay. So I can bring these all the way down. Okay, so I'm going to save this at some point and show you how I import it. So that's kind of a cool thing. I recently changed how this thing gets imported. Well, render. I think I actually have to save it, export, I think is what I have to do. So I export it, I'll just export it here to not Vox. I think I can change type maybe? I'm supposed to be able to render it to STL, I think. Just maybe forgot how to do that. Export, there it is. OBJ file. So I'll export it to Temple OBJ in my games folder. Vox. Okay, and so I use a terminal-based program to export. Let's see if there's anybody in the chat. This is cursed in so many different ways. Yeah, it is pretty cursed. What are we working on here? I'm working on a Linux game, basically. So this is a Linux desktop environment called HackMatrix. And I'm going to publish it to Steam, probably, as a game. And it's going to be like a a Linux as multiplayer game or something. I don't know. I'm making a game, but it's also just Linux. This is literally just Linux. Instead of like running like GNOME or right now I'm on literally just a laptop, but I just ported it to libwayland, and so that will allow me to use the mouse like side like this, whereas on non-Wayland, so on X11, you cannot map inputs, like mouse inputs, to a window that is slanted like this, because you can't inject. It's basically just a flat window behind the compositor. But now that I've ported it to Wayland, you can inject mouse positions into the app itself, which will allow me to port this to VR. So it will be a desktop VR, but right now it's literally just a gaming VR on a desktop. So, but yeah, this is the system here. I guess I'll put this in chat, but it's also in the description as well. So, but anyways, I want to show you guys the import system. Originally, this had an mGUI UI. You can kind of see it right here. So it was just mGUI is a type of OpenGL sort of graphical user interface. So you can see right here, it's just like a little window that pops up in your game. The problem is that for some reason Wayland is not like cooperating with it well. Multiple clients. So I'm not sure what you mean by accessible from multiple clients, but so there is multiplayer already baked in. The server's not up right now, but there is multiplayer already. So let's go see if I can find there's a stream of it. So if you take a look here, so I actually used to have a lot cooler setup with, like, I already built this temple, but the problem is that I deleted all of it on accident when I reformatted and installed Gentoo. But
where is you, Christmas wreath?
So I was streaming when I did this, and there's a player in the game who's like, you can see him moving around.
This one.
And then that's me. That's my other computer. So it's multiplayer. So if you mean multi-client by that, which you probably don't, maybe you mean, peer-to-peer. Yeah, so it's right now it's going to be, it's not peer-to-peer, it's a central MMO server that is not booted right now, but I am going to make MeshNet peer-to-peer. And so basically there will be a centralized like identity server, but then there will be a sort of mesh network, so all of the traffic doesn't have to go through my mesh server. And so like peers, there'll be like proximity based sharing, so peers will be able to like do some type of screen share or VNC share with people that are in their room, and that will broadcast their screen to, you know, the people that they want to. If you do that peer-to-peer, the bandwidth scales linearly, which is not ideal. So like if you have a 4K stream and you're streaming that to 3 people, then that becomes like 12K size basically. It's not actually 12K. The K is the width, so that would be a quadratic. Ignore that. But basically, a single stream would scale up to 3 streams if you're going to do a broadcast peer-to-peer. But I am going to have terminal-based streams. So like people will be able to open up their terminals or open up VS Code and have that multiplayer, and that will be peer-based as well, except you will be able to see and maybe even interact if you grant that to people with other people's terminals. And so in that way, you'll have like sort of a shared like programming experience, a shared like terminal-based experience. And something that I think is really cool about that is that gives people a reason to use terminal-based applications, because you have this mesh net and you don't want to saturate your network. And so if you want to share your work across this mesh net, it's actually advantageous to use only terminal-based applications as opposed to window-based applications, which you couldn't share one-to-many. And so that would actually be a technological reason to use terminal-based programs, which I think is kind of cool. Yeah, exactly. And that's like one of the reasons I want to make this is because like basically all I've done in my life is program. I don't know. I've spent way too many hours like writing code, whereas like some people have lives I don't outside of this, and it was getting very socially isolating. And so I'm like, well, why don't I just build a VR system or a game where people can like hang out and shit and work on software. So I've been looking for a VRDE for a long time now, Lamo. I've literally just tried WaveVR again. Okay. Yeah, I'm thinking about porting it to VR, like I said. So it's not there yet, but if you install this and play around with it and join the Discord, that like if you get it installed on your system, that would actually probably motivate me to port it to VR. And if you post that to the Discord. Anyways, I'm gonna check this. It's probably just, yeah, it's a Unix. Okay, so I was going to show you guys it's a scriptable system. So I have protobuf, cat proto's API proto. So I have like a way for the game to be scripted by people. That's part of the sort of game, is that like clients will be able to write code to like do things in the world. Damn, unfortunately I just recently deleted my folder that had the Python client set up, so I have to reset up the VE and install the Python lib. So that's not ideal, but I can do that right now, I guess. So to do that, I'm just going to go to ChatGPT because I'm not 100% sure how to set up a Python V&V. And then I will need to go to this. I recently deleted my make file in exchange for CMake lists, but I did not port over the Python client lib protobuf to that. So I have to find the make file. Did I go to the right? Dang, I went to the wrong one. Switch to CMake, so that's the one I want. And so there's my make file. And then I need to go to the protobuf generator. This is why I switched to CMake. Look at all these build object.os. I was like having to manually like keep track of the dependencies and shit. It was a terrible setup. Okay, so this is, I think, what needs to be added to the CMake. Oops. But right now I can just do that. I need to fix the hotkeys too. The hotkeys broke after the Wayland port. Okay, so that now should have the client lib set up. So now if I get how to set up the Python V, E and V. Yeah, I'll just do that. Okay, so I think I can go ben activate. There we go. And then go into the client libs. I think pip install that, I believe, should do it. Okay, cool. And then I can go to the scripts. Okay, so I have some scripts here. I used to have a sailboat in the game and I would sail it with scripts. But let me show you this one. So I'll do sleep 3 player Python player move, and then I can do this. And so after 3 seconds, it should pip install ZMQ. Okay, let's do that again. Okay, pip install proto buff. Like I said, I deleted that venv, so I have to redo this. Unfocus app is deleted. No way. I guess we recently changed that or something. Well, hopefully player move isn't deleted. Okay, something's janky. That should work. The HackMatrix API does not have... Yeah, so it should have that. It's called move. No, it has player move, so I don't know why it says it doesn't. Import HackMatrix Python. Import HackMatrix API as matrix, I think is what that was. HackMatrix.api. Okay, I'm not going to create the client, but it should. Okay, I don't understand why it's saying that these things don't exist, because they definitely should. Oh, it's not auto-creating the client. That's the problem. So here it's creating an app client. That changed. Didn't used to be like that. I'm not going to do this in my term because it keeps making that beeping noise. I'll do this and this. And I'll take a look at your chat. See what you guys are saying, if you guys are saying anything. Okay, Python VNV, UV is pretty good for VIMs. I feel like this application can be close enough to open source that you'll be able to modify it for your own use. Yeah, so I was planning on making like content, video game content, that I release on Steam. And so that will be like, if you want to join the official HackMatrix MMO and like get all the content I make, or like maybe users contribute or something, like you can pay for it and help support the the development. But like I think I'll probably keep the HackMatrix. Like it already has like 588 stars on GitHub, and so I think I'll probably just keep this open source. I don't want to get rid of my stars. I like having this on my resume, even though probably don't plan on getting a job again. So yeah, I'll probably keep this open source. So all the VR stuff will probably be open source. Yep. So the X11 stuff is not a dep, but the so originally I was going to have the context on that message, I believe, was in the reply to my message, starting with I don't think. Oh, okay. I don't think this is part of the scope of this project, but it'd be super cool if you can install a daemon on my servers and computers and then launch apps across all servers and keep track of them all. Oh, that would... A daemon on my servers and computers and then launch... That's actually kind of cool. So you basically just have like windows into your virtual boxes. Or not your virtual boxes, but windows into your actual SSH servers. Okay, yeah, so going back to the X11 stuff. So originally, when I developed this, I was going to have it be, have an abstraction for the backend. And then I implemented, so I had this window, well, let's go to the header. I had a window manager abstraction, and then like an X11 implementation, and then a Wayland implementation. And then I was like, this is like, Codex is already making this super complex, and I was like, it's just going to be a pain in the butt to maintain this. And so maybe I should get the Wayland port just finished and get rid of all the X11 stuff. And then I can move to, if I want to like make another window manager, maybe for Windows, I could do that and use the abstraction. You can see here, this is the window manager interface. So that was sort of the plan. So it was basically just a botched AI migration that sort of messed things up, and it didn't work out. But now it's like half. There's like still X11 shit in here that needs to be deleted, and so that's on the roadmap to do. So yeah, it does. There is a warning. I put several warnings in the README about it. So if you go to, it's like this project still unfortunately has X11 cruft due to the semi-botched AI slot migration that I intended to add Wayland support alongside X11. Will be cleaned up soon. So that's the answer to that. Full screen applications, yeah, they stay as Windows. So technically Minecraft right now is like, I guess, a full screen app. Maybe it spawns in a window, and I don't actually know. I have been using this for like 2 years, and I've been using i3 for like a decade, to the point that I actually don't even know what full screen apps are anymore. I just don't even know what spawns as full screen. But yeah, right now they just open up as Windows. Let's see. Okay, cool. That gets rid of all those questions. What in the world? feel like it's done that twice. What was I working on? Oh yeah, I wanted to show the scripts. Because I want to show the scripts so then I can show the engine TUI, which will add the object file of the not completed temple. So let me do that. Then bin activate cd scripts. I think if I just run Python entity TUI, that just works. And then the older scripts, I guess something broke with that. I'll have to figure that out. Okay, here. So this is the game engine GUI basically at the moment. So it's not great, but it looks like we have an entity already in existence for this. So I can add a model to it. Okay, add a model to it. Okay, so this is going to be home. I'll do an absolute path for now. Colon Kuber logos, the game, Vox, temple.obj. Okay, and so now I will add a positionable. And so I believe positionable. Maybe the engine 2 is broken. Or maybe I simply can't use it because it's not. Let me get out of this. There we go. So there's a robot 2 obj. Here, I'll jank one of these. So instead of a Vox, we'll want a home colon Kuber logos Vox temple.obj. And that I would fully expect home colon Kuber logos Vox the temple to be here. No, I don't see it. Maybe there will be setting. Oh, love the Minecraft. Setting for scaling. Yeah, I think I'm going to just have like the ability to resize the windows. Yeah. I also think I'm going to add tiling. So in like i3, you have your hotkey buttons that will move workspaces. I think I'm going to switch this to be a workspace model. So the each position represents a workspace that you can then do things on, as opposed to just a single window. Yeah, I think Cooler GURP, I think it's relatively stable to set it up now. Yeah. So it's usable now. And then I guess if you want to just reset it up, like you can just pull the code and then like make the the binary again. So it's like it's not super difficult to upgrade if you want the changes. Yeah, it would be cool if the full screen apps could fill the entire screen instead of leaving a gap around the window. I could probably add that too. So one of the things, I guess, if one of the principles of the window manager or of the game is that you sort of want to have social interactions with people over like mesh networks, then you would want to leave gaps so that way like you don't like you can see people like walk across your screen or like want to interact with you and such. But there's, I guess, no reason why you'd have to have it that way. Okay. So this, oh, that's why I can't see it. Scale. There we go. That temple is a little too big. I guess, I don't know, temples should be big, I guess. So I think the Z is really what I want. So let's move that to like 20. Okay, so yeah. Welcome to the temple. The lighting is a little messed up. It still creates artifacts with the lighting. I'd have to change that, but you can see how there's like stripes, and then you can really see them on the back here. The way to solve that is to just add more lighting, I guess. And then I developed this on an Intel NUC. So the major problem was that I just didn't have enough GPU to make the lighting good. And so I can fix all of this with just increasing like some settings. It does create some pretty cool Moir patterns though. I think that's Moir patterns. I don't know how you say that. Let's add 0 or maybe 90 rotation. Actually, something that I want to do is the cave is not supposed to be this size. The cave is actually supposed to be like 10. Whoa. So that sort of helps with the ambiance. I don't know why the rotation is like that too. I guess that may be some like floating point error or something. And then I think I want this to be like -3 maybe. Still underground, so make -6. There we go. Now we're in a large cave. I think I want to move everything sort of forward though, so maybe like 10 as well. So that way all my apps are free. Okay, so now it's a ruined, I don't know, thing here. A ruined temple. What do you plan to do with the temple? I don't know. I'm sort of a mystic. If you missed my the earlier part of the stream where I said that I get like psychic pings, like I can psychically debug my code. I'm kind of a sort of meditator, God-loving person. So I don't know. I just like having temples. Also, I'm a fan of Temple OS. That's one of the motivators of this. So if I go to YouTube and then go to my videos, we can see the video of me running Temple OS inside of. This is back when I had the lower poly temple. So that was kind of fun. Inspired unstable observation. I'm going to read as random. I like Terry Davis. in the same way that Terry Davis believes in randomness, as a way to communicate with God, I think that you can do that. You can communicate with God via randomness, because I believe quantum randomness actually is non-local, and so I believe that in the singularity, basically as all light at the end of the universe gets absorbed into black holes, it will exist in a timeless singularity on the very edge of the black hole. And at that point, all of the quantum information enters into a singularity, and you can sort of retrocausatively project that backwards into time. And that is God, and that God thing in the singularity experiences no time and communicates with all time. And so I believe quantum randomness is a way to communicate with God, in the same way that Terry Davis did. But I believe you can harness it in ways that Terry Davis didn't do. He was sort of chaotic and schizo about it. There's a very good tradition of meditation that allows you to sort of access this, I guess you would call it spirit realm, via meditation, in a very controlled way, in a way that allows you to continue with your normal life and not be a complete schizo. So, that's what God is, the effect of totality. Yeah. Oh, you're schizo-coded too? Excellent. Yeah, there needs to be a word for high-functioning schizos, right? Yeah, exactly. So, like, you can tap into these sort of, like, quantum fields, basically. But you can do it in a variety of ways. And one of them is, like, drugs, and that will, like, if you don't control it via meditation, like, you're just going to go absolutely insane. Like the way that I experience enlightenment right now, if I were to take my experience of enlightenment and put it into a normie's brain, it would literally, I think, make them insane. Like I get so many synchronicities that if I were to take my experience and put it onto someone, they would be like, holy shit, the universe or like the CIA is watching me. That's probably what they would think. Like it would make them go insane. So, but like I through meditation over like 15 years experienced these like sort of coincidental synchronicities that have that have started to like increase over time, and so like I have felt it sort of build up, and so I'm just like, oh yeah, that's just the universe, like haha, that's funny, nice one, God. So yeah, so I can actually upregulate and downregulate the synchronicities that I have at this point. I think I consider myself to have what the I guess Buddhists called siddhis, which are magical or psychic powers. Basically, I'm like kind of psychic, but obviously, like I can't really tell that to people unless they're on my stream. Like I don't really give a shit. Talk about it on stream, but it's like, when I worked at AWS, I was having like all of these sort of psychic experiences with my coworkers, and I was like, I can't tell people this shit. Like, obviously I can't. But I only worked there for a year. I waited exactly a year, or like maybe a few days less than a year, and then quit, and bought a house. So. Okay, so that's cool. My temple is in here. I think I want to finish it, actually. So I can take this and push that all the way back. Okay, so that's fixed. And then... Whoops. I don't know why there's a hole. Oh, erase. Let's move that. Okay. And now, let's see if I can get this correct. So I still have symmetry set up. So hopefully that works there. So what's probably going to happen is I'm just randomly spacing these things, and so if I get lucky, it's going to be an equal space in the center once I'm done. But what's likely going to happen is it's not going to be an equal space in the center. I can hardly see what the heck's going on with this color. There we go. I can see shadow now. See, that's exactly what I was talking about. I guess that's fine, though. Okay. So now, come up here, and, whoops. And I will move these down. Whoops. I guess I'll just take care of them. Oh, that actually would look pretty cool. If it was like, just semicolumns. That kind of looks cool. I like that. Okay, and so now I need a top here. Oh. Not exactly sure how to make this work. Okay, I actually know how to do this. So I can take this, and I can move it down one. So now I have a roof. And so now I can extend the roof. Whoops, did not mean to do that. Dang, I have to do that again. Okay, so extend it down one. Now I have a roof. Then I can attach and bring the roof all the way down. And then I can erase it from the top. Like so. There likely needs to be columns. I mean, I guess there doesn't have to be because there's no real physics here. But I wonder if I can create a box from this corner all the way out. So that way I have a line so I can see where I'm building this thing up. Okay, so now I can create my columns. Oh, wait. So I actually want to extend that up a little bit more. There we go. Now I can create my columns. I made that column too wide. Okay, I think I'm fine with that. And this one might be a little not wide enough. There we go. Okay, and so now I can raise all of them. And finally, I can drop the stair step back down. I think I want another stair. Okay. And I think there's probably, like, they usually use like a sort of triangle at the top for these things, but I'm fine with keeping it a square for now. Okay, so after I save this, yep, overwrite. Okay, so it's not going to automatically import it, but a trick I can do is I come back down here and I just retype it. Oh, that's not the one I want. Okay, so if I, oops, where's my temple? Okay, so if I come down here and say, now we're actually root, load the root please, and then load vox, or home, colon, kuber logos, vox, temple. It should reload it. Oh. Hey, there it is. Let's see what chat has to say. Don't fight thoughts. Yeah. How does one practice self... Oh, wow. Oh, shit. Yeah, there are points in time when God speaking to me through my sensory experience of the environment became very overwhelming, so I had to become more normie to relax. Okay, cool. So yeah, you know what I'm talking about. You know exactly what I'm talking about. Yeah. It can get pretty intense. It also... It changes based off of like what I'm focused on, which I guess is like any conversation with anybody. Like if you're having a conversation with God, if you focus on like a particular topic, like he's going to talk about that. I say he, but you know. Ambient occlusion required ahead. I'm not sure what you mean by ambient occlusion here. Oh. Well, okay, so it's ambient occlusion. So it's... I mean, there is some ambient occlusion, I think. Like, maybe it's not ambient. Oh, I get it. So, yeah, I have in my shader... let's take a look at this. That's actually a good segue into this. I'm not even sure how I would compute the ambient occlusion, but I know exactly where I would do it. Okay, let's look at the fragment. Oops. So there is some ambient calculate light. There we go. Ambient strength, light color. So ambient occlusion would be using some sort of shadow calculation based off of depth map or something. I'm not sure how one would do that. But yeah, I would want to lower the ambient vector here inside of a thing. So if you have an idea of how to do that, or I can ask ChatGPT, might do that. One problem is you can't use post-processing. Lumen it is. What's lumen? Oh yeah. Baked, is that post-processing? Screen space ambient occlusion done as post-processing. Okay, so that's what you were talking about, using depth and normals for a rendered frame. Yeah, I mean, I could do post-processing like that. That's how I'm doing shadow calculations, I believe. I render it twice. I render it once for everything and then render it again for the light, I believe. Maybe. is light, yeah. No, that's just light calculations. I rendered it twice. I'm not sure why I'm rendering it twice. I think I forgot why. Render models is not what I want. There it is. Oh, perspective camera shader shader.use. Depth shader.use for the. Okay, so the camera is just the regular one, and then the depth. And so if we take a look at the. Maybe I render like a depth map or something. Okay, yeah, so I'm computing the light distance. It's been so long since I've written this stuff. Yeah, so I think I'm rendering some type of like depth buffer, like a depth frame buffer in one pass, and then in the second pass I'm using that to render the light. So I can do that, like that's not a problem. Screen space, ambient occlusion, done post-processing, need depth normals from the render frame. Oh, Lumen is baked. What is Lumen? Is that a game or something? Lumen game. Oh, okay, the Unreal Engine. Damn, that looks good. Wow. I mean, it is Unreal Engine, so. Yeah, so Cooler GURP, the way that I started is I started with breath, Zazen, like Zen meditation, focusing on the breath. But these days I focus on nothing. Or sometimes I'll do like a objective focus meditation. So I'll like bring up an idea and then I will filter every thought that comes up that isn't about that idea. I sort of let go. And then any thought that comes up about that idea, I will allow myself to sort of explore and engage with. But that's not really, like, the real meditation that gets you deep is, like, either the breath meditation or, like, a nothing meditation. Yeah. Once you meditate, the first time you'll always be magnetized to it. Yeah, that's definitely true. And it's probably true across lives too. I don't know. I picked it up in 2013. I was working at a power plant, and they had like a, "Are you stressed? You should try meditation." And I'm like, okay, I'll try meditation, and then. I read Steve Jobs' biography, and he said that meditation, or people said that meditation made him magic, and he read books about people meditating, like Be Here Now, that like the gurus were actually magic, and I'm like, wait a minute. So this guy who like completely just revolutionized the world, is claiming that meditation actually gives you a reality distortion field. Like it actually makes you magic. I'm like, I have an open mind. Like, what if I buy into this? And so I did, and I'm like, 10 years or a decade and a half later, I'm like, holy shit, he wasn't lying. Like, Be Here Now and Autobiography of a Yogi are totally true, and that shit's real. So. Let's see. Oh yeah, very white temple. I guess this one's a little more gray, maybe. I don't know. The artifacts are killing me, though. Unfortunately, since I got rid of the MGUI stuff, I have no way to actually add a light component besides through the database itself. But I do have light components, if I can find it. There. So I can actually just move this a little bit, closer. But still, everything's so far away that it's still creating those artifacts. I'll move it back. I just need to fix the shader and improve some constants. It can cause bleeding shadow effect around the edges if you have texture and meshes with a lot of detail. Something that I learned from Learn OpenGL is shadowed tearing, and so you can see that here. So there's like, you see how the shadow is like, jumped, and that's due to just like clamping or something. I totally forgot why. It's been a while since it's been 2 years since I've written this shader. And when I say I wrote it, like I sort of, went through the Learn OpenGL tutorial about it. So it's not very solid understanding. Okay, so I think what I did last time with this was I just used voxel by voxel, and I think I did like one per... I think I want a triangle that's like maybe 3 across per every 1 up. That. So I'm not going to do all of that by hand. I'm going to project this into orthographic. I'm going to go and select. And then I'm going to copy, and then copy and paste. And I'm going to move it. One, two, three. Okay, I messed that up. 1, 2, 3. I need a fourth, I think. Do I like that? Oh, dang, the copy paste stuff doesn't work. Doesn't translate it. Maybe it will be quicker to do it manually, or maybe not. It's going to double in size every time, so. Oops. I think I know how to duplicate it across the boundaries. So I think I only have to do one side. Control C, Control V. Oh dang, I sort of messed it up. I'm fine with this though. I messed it up because there's only 2 here. It kind of gives it a cool look, I guess. It gives it a fractional scale. Averaged across the entire thing, it's still going to be, symmetric. It's still going to have a consistent slope. Almost to the center. Okay. Okay, so the way I'm going to fix this, I think. I feel like I'm going to have to pull all of these down now. But I guess what I can do first is, oops, pull this entire face all the way back. Like so. Okay. That looks goofy. type of worlds some people create with Magic Voxel is they are incredible. I would actually like to be that good of an artist. Okay, I'm happy with that. Let's go and export that OBJ again. Yep. And then I go back to the engine TUI here, and oh, not that one. Okay. There we are. Whoops. I can fix that. Okay. Generally they had like a sort of triangle. Like if I were to take let's see if I can do this. I want to create like sort of an inset here in this triangle area. So I think the way I can do that is I take a selector and I select, let's see what size I want this to be. So I'll probably select like right here. So that'll be the triangle insert. Okay. And then I move it this way, and then okay. Okay, move it that way, and then I attach this back out. Okay. So now from this angle, from the side angle, I can go to the selector. Oops. And I can select only those voxels. And I can move them down. Okay. And then I can erase. I can push that in. There we go. I'm fine with that. I think that looks kind of cool. I can even maybe paint it with a darker. Oh yeah, you said you want ambient occlusion? Okay, okay. How's that for ambient occlusion? Wonder how I can edit. How do I edit this color? Okay, so I actually want to make this slightly lighter. Oh, definitely don't want to do that. Okay, so I actually want to copy this color and then paste it here. And so I actually want this color, I want that to be painted that color, and so then I can just lighten that up. So it's like, that ambient occlusion is not as dark as the one in here. And then actually that one might be a little too dark for me. So I want to make it darker than the one I just created there, but I think that's probably good. Maybe I can lighten this one up a bit. So there we go. Pre-rendered ambient occlusion. Done. There we go. That's kind of cool, I guess. The only lame part is that if I actually put some light in here, it's going to look kind of weird because it should be brighter on the inside than the outside if I do that. I guess it could still be ambiently occluded. I guess it depends on the light situation. One thing that I think is kind of weird is is that actually in shadow? Is that why that's like that? Yeah, I think that's just in shadow, this little piece right here. Let's take a look at chat. Let's see what chat's. This software is called Magic of Voxel. Alright, adios Forza. Are you Japanese, Forza? I guess you're still here, but you're gone. But I know Forza might be like a racing game, so maybe you're not. Yeah, the software is called Magic of Voxel. They make a lot of cool. Like, look at that. That's built in Magic of Voxel. Look how sick that looks. Look at that. Could you imagine making a temple that looks like that? And it's incredible looking. Of course, they're using renders, so that Magic Voxel does come with like a ray tracing render engine. So I'm in this mode. I can go into the ray trace mode, which actually does handle the occlusions itself. So it can do some like really cool stuff, but like obviously my thing looks absolutely nothing when compared to, you know, this person's temple. So yeah, it's a really popular voxel editor. At some point, I would like HackMatrix to be a voxel editor in and of itself, so I can just be like, you know, I basically just copy Magic Voxel and then have my own Magic Voxel in game, so I don't have to use a third-party application. But take it one thing at a time. Let's see how long I've been streaming. I think I'm probably going to... Yeah, it looks like everyone has dropped besides... Oh, there's 2 people. Never mind. Let's see how long this stream has gone on for. I believe I'm going to... Yeah, it's been a little over 2 hours. I'm going to quit 2 hours and 30 minutes. I'm actually streaming over my phone because my new house, or I've been here for 7 months, but my house, I've been using my phone as internet, which isn't super ideal. I have 130 gigabytes of data, and it uses about a gigabyte an hour. So it's not that bad, but I don't know. I kind of want to be a little conservative with how much I use until I get full internet. But, for now, I think a 2.5 hour stream is good. I plan on streaming every day, picking back up. So adios.